saying on this channel for quite some time now, if Batista had won the belt at Mania 30 instead of Goat Boy, that the company would be in better shape right now.
Absolutely.
Possibly getting 3s in the ratings still, like they were before Cropper. We firmly believe that. Look at what's happened since Cropper won the fucking belt. It's been an unmitigated disaster. Nothing good has happened since then. Nothing even slightly tolerable has happened since then. It's been a never-ending train wreck.
So if Batista had won, right off the bat, I could think of one thing. If Batista had won the title at WrestleMania 30, it would have shown the Smarks that no, Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit what you think, and it wouldn't have empowered them and encouraged them to keep hijacking matches with their bullshit.
They wouldn't constantly be kowtowing to them. You certainly wouldn't see fucking Ziggler main eventing SummerSlam or Fergal beating Reigns on his first night ever. None of that shit be happening. Who knows? Who knows what direction they could have taken without these fucking chodes thinking they have this power? And don't you think for 1 minute, well, that would have been the end of the company, no one would have been watching? No, because all the people who do like real wrestling stopped watching at that point when Cropper won. That's why the ratings are where they at. We said it back then. This is a vocal minority. These Smarks are not the majority of wrestling fans. If you had put the belt on an actual fucking wrestler like you planned, things would not have turned out this way.
Here's another thing that would have happened. They could have had Roman Reigns eventually beat Batista, and he wouldn't be hated like he's hated today.
Could have created the star. And here's another thing. You wouldn't have had to break up the Shield the way you did, because Batista wouldn't have left. The Shield could still be around today, kicking fucking ass and all being awesome. Instead, we got a guy who shoves dildos in his hiney, a guy who fucking squirts mustard at people, and a guy who tells nursery rhymes and loves his Samoan family. Enough said. The Shield could still be an entity. Here's another thing. You want to talk about drawing money? How about doing Batista versus Lesnar at a pay-per-view?
That was... all these Bryan versus Batista... No. Lesnar, Batista was money.
Two legit badasses.
Two guys who've never interacted. It's one of the few what-ifs that actually hasn't happened yet. That could have still happened.
Two legit badasses. Two of the greatest SmackDown champions of all time. Two guys who legit... I know Batista had one match in MMA, but fuck it. Two guys who had great MMA careers. Fighting. That sells itself. I don't care what anyone says. Batista's great on the mic, so imagine Batista and Paul Heyman going at it. Imagine they're having a contract signing and Batista just fucking slams Paul Heyman through a table.
It's money.
That's instant viewership right there. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're a Smark, you're going to tune in to see that shit. What else could happen?
We wouldn't have this influx of NXT jobbers.
Hell no. Because again, there'd be no market for it.
You wouldn't need it. The Shield could be your NXT jobbers.
Yeah, that can be your NXT... Excuse me, I'm fucking stuttering like a maniac. Way back when, before the arrival of Neville and shit, we thought NXT was great because all we'd seen were the Wyatts and the Shield. We thought it was the future. We thought the future was now. So, if you didn't break up the Shield and you killed the market for these midgets, they'd be your NXT showcase. Maybe you give these dumb midgets in NXT an actual chance to develop like they're supposed to, instead of bringing them up to cater to the Cropper fans.
You know what else would have happened if Batista won? We would have been spared the year-long horrible Rollins, Kane, Jamie Noble, Joey Mercury shenanigans, because he'd still be in the Shield.
And right there, you would have never have seen heel Rollins, which killed wrestling. None of that. Rollins would never have talked. Dean Ambrose would still be you never have the lunatic fringe. Dean Ambrose would still be a fucking badass cutting great promos. Roman Reigns would still be stoic and silent, not talking about how he's Samoan, I've said.
If Batista would have won, you would have had options. You could have rolled with him as your face of the company for a few months, or you could make him a heel, channel the anger, and have whoever actually beats Batista
become a superstar.
Become a white-hot face.
Here's another thing. Who was Batista fighting at that pay-per-view? Randy Orton, which means he could have gotten...
could have gotten rid of fucking Orton!
Could have gotten a Triple H tie-in, maybe some more Batista Triple H. That's never bad for business. I don't care what you say. Well, you gotta stop living in 2002. No, I loved living back then. That's when wrestling was good.
Yeah, really.
So that's when they drew fucking money. You could have had Batista get revenge on Cena for all the embarrassing shit he put him through.
If Batista was a face, who knows? He wouldn't have needed heel challengers. Maybe the Wyatts wouldn't have been turned into jobbers.
See, now, if you had the Wyatt family from back then in a legit main event feud with a real star as champion, imagine if Bray Wyatt beat a fucking face of the company champion Batista and became a heel champion. You think we have the fucking box ghost fraud we have now? He would have been another Undertaker at that point. No one would have had a problem with that. Because he would have been fresh off the Shield wins, back when they actually won shit. And you know what? Let's do this from like a positive, smart point of view also. Okay, Cropper loses. Maybe he can go back to fighting midgets in the mid-card and not end his fucking career trying to fight guys who slam him too hard because they're big and he's a midget.
You could have put on 5-star matches for you.
Yeah, go. You can have a mid-card called the Great Match Division where he can just fight Ziggler every week in great 5-star matches. And that's what the smarts will tune in for. Instead of having him try to fight Kane and Triple H every night until he breaks his goddamn neck because they're too big.
If Batista would have stayed, we would have been spared countless horrible superhero movies.
How about that? That's a good one.
That's a great one. That's probably the best one. Who cares about raccoons with bazookas?
This is a James Gunn film, though. It's probably good.
Who?
James Gunn.
I don't know who that is. The point being, everything horrible happened now resulted from WrestleMania 30.
Yes.
That was it. That was the beginning. You can maybe say Punk's pipe bomb.
No, that awakened the Smarks, but WrestleMania 30 empowered the Smarks.
Right, they got what they wanted. The main thing here is you could have bitch slapped those fat boys and said, no, Stinky, you're not getting what you want. There's Twilight Sparkle, she's over there, go rape her, leave wrestling to the big boys.
Seriously, I feel like we're in an alternate timeline, like we're in Back to the Future 2, and this wasn't supposed to happen. Like really, Batista was supposed to win, but Biff Tannen got his hands on a sports almanac and fucked it all up. Now Daniel Bryan won, and now we're in this nightmare world where all these queers are running around kicking people and dripping oil everywhere. That's what wrestling is, when it could have been what we said. It could have been a money-making machine where you have a real face of the company either fucking being the people's champion as a fucking face, or fucking being this evil guy as a heel who's just ready to pass the torch on to a new guy and create a new star.
Daniel Bryan didn't create stars.
Daniel Bryan created
He elevated jobbers. He didn't create stars.
Wow, that's good. That's something
That's
something a politician would say in a speech. Like picture Ben Carson talking to Hillary Clinton. Daniel Bryan did not create stars. He elevated jobbers. That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Anyway.
That's it. All you had to do was have Big Dave win the belt. Like you promised.
And if you're smart and you come across this video and you say, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, you guys are just throwing out generalizations, look how your fucking world turned out. Look how Cropper winning turned out. No one's I don't know what planet you're living on. No one's watching wrestling anymore here in the real world. 1.87 with your midgets as champion and with Fergal running around kicking people with his dumb flipped jacket. The way it turned out from your victory is trash.
Here's the biggest one of all, perhaps. If Batista had won, and then later on down the road actually dropped the title to somebody and put them over, maybe he wouldn't have been alienated and quit. Maybe he'd still be here contributing. He had a 2-year contract. You drove him away.
Now, he'll never be back now. I know you're probably thinking it was good stuff. Well, I know there's a lot of smart second point would be great, Batista came back.
And if he does come back now, fucking Fergal could have every belt in the company. He'll still get booed if he comes back.
It's a nightmare. You've created this nightmare reality of wrestling with your dumb, babyish, oh, I didn't get my way. Well, you got your way. No one's watching. You're the only people watching now. Congrats. You've killed wrestling. It's literally, you've killed wrestling. It's dead. Now we got Fergal main eventing SummerSlam after being on the show once. You got Dolph Ziggler running around main eventing for fucking Dean Ambrose. It's a nightmare. We're in a nightmare. There's a belt called the Universal Championship. This is a living nightmare for wrestling fans.
Fuck Sami Zayn.